welcome back to the ARC Path.
My name is Bernard,
And I'm Casey.
and we are celebrating another phenomenal podcast.
We're celebrating life together and the community that we have, and the fact that you're a part of this community. And I'm not talking to Bernard as I say that. It's you, the listener, the engager, the one who's come alongside the journey with us.
Yes, and there is no community without you. That's the paradigm. Is that as we look at each other, it's either there is a community made up of individuals that are choosing to be together,
Mm-hmm.
or we're just a bunch of nomads that really find each other along the road, and it's a choice at that point. What do I do with that one?
And I want to say it just slightly different. Community is not a bunch of strangers who happen to be in the same room.
Correct.
Community is unique individuals who are choosing to be in relationship.
Yes. I like my visual in my head, barbarians roaming the city. Do I kill that one? Do I beat that one?
What city is that? And I want to
Well,
make sure I'm not hanging out there.
listen, we are on the West Coast, so that's the Wild West. So
The wild
we are in the
West.
Wild West.
Yeah, a bunch of barbarians, recognizing, and yet, as you think about it, at least as I think about every movie or image of these Wild West barbarians, pirates, if you would, there's a degree of community amongst the barbarians that is, it rivals any other community. No?
I think it's amazing what you just said, because we are living in barbaric times,
Yes.
and do we choose to be in barbaric communities?
Mm.
You opened the door.
I did, and I'm looking at just the concepts of the ARC path and recognizing that there's a book. There's always a book in my life. Erwin McManus wrote this book a long time called The Barbarian Way, and he was advocating that to be on the mission of the kingdom is a barbarian way. And I know you didn't know that, but I'm reliving the book right now in the moment. Thank you. But the below the line concept of community today is just being exhausted and out of control and in conflict with people and systems that are constantly just exhausting us because I can't control them. And barbarians don't live in that place.
No.
I mean, they really don't. And it's not that they aren't attempting to be politicians or rulers of people. They're simply recognizing I'm gonna live my best life.
Yeah.
Man, I'm glorifying the barbarian, aren't I?
I let's see where this goes. I said it was going to be an amazing podcast.
It is an amazing podcast, and we are in community with you. Are you a barbarian with us?
Yeah.
Are you blazing new trails? Are you aware of what your tribe is? A little catchphrase that, your vibe attracts your tribe. And there is something about the vibe of the ARC path.
Yes.
And it's this hope, it's this abundance, it's this recognition that joy and peace and wisdom are not only available, they're accessible.
Yes.
And they're in our lives right now.
And does that mean that we're gonna all be like-minded, in a sense that we're all gonna think the same, want the same, do the same, believe the same?
If so, then we're not barbarians.
Yes.
Because every barbarian community fights amongst themselves because they disagree with themselves, but they give permission and space for that.
Yes.
It's that dystopian community that everybody is forced to be exactly like everybody else, that there is no joy.
Yes.
There is no creativity. There is no curiosity about what could happen when somebody rises up to really live into the fullness of themselves. In this controlled environment, we lose.
So you're advocating individualism in community as a critical component to a successful community.
I'm going to add one word: radical.
Ah.
Radical individualism in community.
He just makes it worse
Um,
by every moment.
well,
But yeah, but you have to define radical.
I'm going to define radical that there is nobody that knows what I know, that thinks what I think, that sees what I see, and understands what I understand. There's nobody that has my unique point of view, um, and that's radical.
So radical being a differentiation in
I'm radically different.
then got it. Got it.
And
Because you kept saying the word radical.
barbarian radical,
No,
yes.
what I kept hearing is rebellious.
Ooh,
I,
interesting.
and I just want to throw that out. I would love to know what you guys are hearing before I said the word, because and that's why I said is I hope you're gonna clarify what that is. And even when you started, I'm like, and the word still kept coming to my mind. I'm a rebellious individual, and that's what makes up
You are a
community.
rebellious individual
Ah,
because you're not willing to conform um, to the standards or expectations of everybody else because you can't. Everybody has an expectation on you. Bernard
yes.
Bashura, you are this, you are this, you are this. Whether it be titles of husband, father, friend, brother, cousin, or CEO, entrepreneur, businessman, community advocate, or dot 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 dot.
Yes.
Let's just leave out ethnicity and culture.
Yes.
Gosh, that would be too much.
Yes.
You can't fulfill those expectations,
No. No.
and so you are radical and
But
in rebellion.
well, I like radical. It's I don't like rebellious.
No.
Because we were punished for being rebellious in our youth, and rebellious was not conforming to
Yep.
our parents, who they were, what they believed in, and how they
Mm-hmm.
lived.
Yep.
So anything that we did that was different than our parents was rebellion, and we were chastised, punished, however you want to look at it. So rebellious was bad. Radical, in my upbringing anyways, became celebrated
Mm.
in some areas.
Yeah. And I love how we are, in a roundabout way, defining community, barbarian and radical, but not rebellious, truly individual, but devoted to community. Um, we're painting quite a picture here of what it is that we are building uh, as a vision.
I can't even imagine. I mean,
I mean, it's better than any movie we've seen.
none of those terminologies define that utopian community that we're all striving for, or
Possibly
being
Lord of the
sold.
Rings. Possibly Lord of the Rings. I mean, we might be on a mission to save the world.
Uh,
And just that element. And what I bring us to today is take a deep breath and let's let go of being defined by others.
mm, oof.
Let's let go of trying to fulfill everybody else's expectations for us and be proactive about what is unique, what is specific. You have a DNA, you have a purpose and a calling that is unique to you. And as you step into community, if you're not willing to celebrate that, you're going to have to give it up.
Mm,
And really, in the community picture that I'm advocating for along this ARC path, and what we're talking about today is um, we have the opportunity to create a community that people really stop giving up on themselves,
mm.
where they can come in and go, I don't have to be perfect. I don't have to have it all together, but I don't have to be like you. Oh my gosh. You mean I could be like me?
I love that, because giving up on others, giving up on themselves, it's really giving up on community. Is where if we look at society today, the what it is a result of most of us giving up in so many different areas.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the invitation is, instead of giving up, begin the journey. Acknowledge again. We
Yep.
jump onto the arc path.
Yep.
Acknowledge that I'm unique and different.
Yes.
I am different. I am celebrated, and I don't conform I don't, to any standard, because like, if I'm unique and different, then I'm not like any of the other 8 billion people in this world.
And outside of community, you can't really know that you're unique and different. That's the irony of this. It's I'm going to be an individual who's unique and different, but if I live in isolation, I'm not aware of my uniqueness.
There's nothing to gauge it against. Yeah.
Nothing at all.
Yeah.
And yet, so often the very thing that draws us to a community is like-mindedness and assimilation.
Mm.
Oh, those people are like me. They're my type of people. I'm going to go hang out with my type of people. And in doing so, we seem to lose our uniqueness.
Or the belief that that we're unique. And if we lose the belief then I'm going to finish the thought. If we lose the belief that we're unique, we start to believe the opposite, which is, well, we're all supposed to be the same, but that one is not acting today the same, and there's something wrong with that one. And the next day it's that one, and the next day it's that one. And so there's a conformity that we try to subject each other to.
Hmm.
And every time we subject each other to this conformity, we're snuffing out the uniqueness of individuals. And when it's our turn to be snuffed out, we don't like it very much, but we submit to it.
Mm. So my thought coming up as I'm sitting here is what amazing parents, fathers we are.
Mm.
Um, and why I say that is, good old Facebook memories. But this week, 7 years ago, our families were in Newport together for the first time.
Oh, wow.
And the picture came up of our six kids, so three and three. Not too far off in ages, but you've got the oldest and the youngest, and I've got three in the middle. And yet, the picture of the six of them were sitting at the table, and I just thought, 7 years ago, our six kids. Think about 7 years ago. Life has so changed in 7 years. And here's why I say we're such amazing fathers. We have some of the most unique and diverse children in and amongst themselves.
Yes.
Their permission to be themselves makes it challenging to be parents.
Yes.
I mean,
Uh,
so I'll just stop and enjoy that for a moment.
mm.
We have barbarian children.
Can I go through the list?
Yeah. Let's talk about that for a minute.
Yes.
But I share that in light is it's not that we set out to be to have barbarian children,
Correct.
which are radically individualistic, but yet the other side of that coin is our kids like each other.
Yes.
And I think they like each other because they are so different. So they're not getting lost. They can very quickly go, you're not like me this way. You're not like me this way. But thank God I'm not like you in that way.
Yes.
They honor each other in that place too.
Yes.
Tangent on all of that, as I look at the AHRK path, it takes courage to step into community
And to stay there.
and to stay there.
Yes.
And yet, as we are there, the fruit of that courage becomes compassion.
Mm.
If it doesn't become compassion, it becomes intolerance, and then we leave the community.
Oh.
But
But
yep.
You said the word intolerance.
Yes,
I want to say both tolerance and intolerance are below the line.
Yes.
Because I was again, culturally,
Mm-hmm.
we are bred to be tolerant.
And so to clarify both my statement, but what we're talking about in community is not a gathering of people who are simply tolerant of one another.
Exactly.
And community is not a gathering of people who are intolerant of one another. Often there is a community of people who are intolerant with everybody outside of their community.
Yes.
We're not advocating that either.
No, we're not.
But that's why I deposit the word compassion
Powerful.
in the midst of it, because there's this thing about being courageous, about being, we've used the word radical and barbarian, and this element of I'm going to radically be me, but yet I'm going to come into relationship with people who are different than me, and then my compassion is going to grow. And compassion is this element of recognizing that I have something that you don't have. You have something that I don't have. And then here's where community gets powerful. But we're better together.
Mm.
I can give out of my strength and not be ashamed of my weakness,
Mm.
because my very weakness may be your strength.
Yes.
Would you give out of your strength? And if so, this is where compassion grows. Are we ready? Are we ready for
I
this?
don't
Are
know.
we
I don't
creating
know.
utopian? Because we kind of said we don't want dystopian.
Yes, we definitely don't want dystopian. I mean, it is a gosh, but do I dare acknowledge and admit that I don't have it all? I don't know it all.
I don't know. Did you just admit that?
No, I said
You pondered, do I dare?
I'm just letting that float out there somewhere. Imagine, I mean, the guy that knows it all. Imagine if maybe you know, again, we're on the air, so we got to be careful what
That's
you
right.
say,
That's
right?
right.
Is it possible in the realm of reality that I don't know it all?
So let me take it back to our children. How long would it take for my children to tell other people that I don't have it all together? Split second?
Yeah.
That they would have no
Well,
hesitation. And I, don't- I work with your children. Um, so let me just tell you, they are very quick.
you mean
They are
what?
very
You
quick
mean
to
what?
be mindful that my dad doesn't have it all together. He's
Yeah,
difficult to work with.
but they're delusional. It's okay.
And the beauty of that, of our joy of not having it all together, is where our character is revealed.
Yes.
It's in community that healing takes place. Because in community we continue to come back to people to show us, hey, wait, I knew you 7 years
Mm.
ago, and I know you today, and yet we both can acknowledge how different we are today
Yes.
than we were 7 years ago.
Yes.
And either that means we're farther apart because we're different,
Yes.
or it means we have a stronger bond of community because we celebrate our differences.
Yes.
Man, I'm painting a beautiful picture.
Yes.
I think
Yes.
this is what the ARC path is all about.
Well, and because again, you brought up compassion, and as you brought up my kids, the I've never felt dishonored by my kids. So as even as they have an opinion that I might not have it all or know it all, they honor me every day, and they don't dishonor me. And when I say something that I do where I do say that I know it all in a sense, context,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't. And it's just it's this these we're talking about character at the end of
Yeah.
the day. It's
Yeah.
do I have compassion? Do I honor people? Do I celebrate people that I don't agree with? They're not like me, and they don't think like me. They don't do like me, and they don't want like me. And so it's what is my character? You go, well, no. How can I if their character's off? That's their character. What's my character? And this is what the arc path is about, is acknowledging, healing those areas in my life that distort my thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And then but I want to get I'm concerned. I want to get into the kingdom, but let's get into restoration first.
Amen. And this restoration is this element of um, building the ability that your talents and your passions can be matured.
Mm.
That this is where mentorship comes in community. And as your talents, your passions, your uniqueness is expressed outwardly.
Mm.
So sometimes we just look at the uniqueness of me being, well, my DNA is different, so I'm uniquely different. But no, it's so much more than just internal differences. The very contribution that any one of us can and does make in the world is unique to us. But now in the restoration is, are you leaning in, growing, developing, enhancing what your contribution is? Because the more that you are serving and giving away to others, the more you're learning about self-control and your personal development.
Mm. So that's a book. So I'm I want to write that book. So what you talked about was the restoration
Mm-hmm.
of character, and but the way I captured it is character course correction.
Constantly.
Oof, gosh, that's come on. You mean I don't? There isn't a point in time where I'm gonna get there?
Yes, you're going to get there. It's just uphill, and it's a constant course
I
corrected.
was
Like,
happy that I got part of it
yeah,
right.
yeah. It's why I don't believe in retirement.
Yes.
It's where we have this image of someday, eventually, I'll just get to live on my yacht and sip some drinks and put my toes in the water. And I go, okay, well, somebody might call that heaven. I might declare that might be hell.
Yeah.
To have no contribution, to have no engagement, to have um, notice I said that and I was the only person in that picture.
Yes.
I was in a place of isolation
Yes.
because anybody that's sitting there is probably going to disturb me.
Yes.
Don't bother me.
I'm
I'm
retired.
retired. I'm comfortable. I'm checking out. And somebody might say, Casey, when you're 70, check in.
Yes.
And all you want is just to, and I go, could it be because you lived your entire life, and forgive the offense if you're 70 and you're thinking this, could it be that you lived your entire life not being you
Yeah.
and you're exhausted? Go
Yeah.
back to our opening kind of thought of below the line. I'm exhausted by the ongoing conflict of people and systems that are beyond my control. And I just want to be alone.
Yeah.
And in that, we've given up on being in community.
Mhm. That's what gets slain.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
quit.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
quit community. It's too hard. It's too much work.
But if you persevered,
Yes.
you would have built an empire. And if you built an empire, then you can retire on that yacht. If you were successful,
Yeah. I love that you're dropping words that you're in my world, you're in my wheelhouse. Bernard accuses me of this all the time. Bernard, what I heard you say was that if I'm building my empire, then I get to retire
then you get to retire on in your empire.
in my empire.
In your
And
empire.
I know you're leveraging this because I just said I don't believe in retirement.
Correct.
So unpack for that as we drive this home. What is the difference between that kingdom and that empire element that we're reaching for?
It just, I mean, you started off community and compassion, and community compassion leads to living in a kingdom and a kingdom lifestyle
Mm-hmm.
and a kingdom community,
Yeah.
because it's just the celebration that it's either I'm building an empire that
Yep.
I could retire in
Yep.
and again slash isolate, or I'm building a radical lifestyle. I'm living a radical lifestyle
Yeah.
in the kingdom and slash kingdom community.
Yeah. The visual I give you is the king. Let's start with the empire is the pyramid where the person at the top is being served by everybody they built. I built this. It's my empire. I'm at the top. Everything and everyone is serving me. So now I'm in isolation. I am the only one at the top, and I can retire, and everything below me will serve me to keep me there. The kingdom inverts that and recognizes that service unto others is the very way by which the kingdom is built.
And I want to demonstrate that to you guys. If you're watching this, I just want to tell you how much Casey loves me. He actually allowed me to deliver the funnest line in the whole thing. And just because he knows me, he could have easily taken it and just ran with it. And that's community. And so for me, it's just, I don't do enough of that, by the way. If I get the finish line, I'm going into the finish line.
Well, here's the joy of it. I believe you delivered it in a way that some people would only hear it from you.
Mm.
And that is community.
Yeah.
Because if it was my empire, then I would deliver it every time.
Yeah.
But the only people that are in my empire are the ones who are serving me.
Yes.
And that can feel really good. It can feel
Yeah.
really important.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
necessary. And so much of the world is built around that. We don't do a whole lot of scriptural references in our podcast, but Romans 12, go read the whole Romans 12 chapter, but do not conform to the
Yeah.
pattern of this world, but
Yes.
be
Be transformed.
transformed by the renewing of your
Yeah.
mind. And that's really what we are attempting to do right here in this podcast is invite you to a mindset shift about community.
Love it.
Uh,
Love it.
I- Look at your community. Is it filled with barbarians? Is it filled with radicals? Is it filled with individuals who are so uniquely different? Or is it filled with a bunch of people that are all trying to blend in and look, think, and act the exact same way?
Mm.
For those of you that have faith, if you're still following along, I think the best expression of church doesn't look like the latter. Oh,
Yes.
we're all in the same place. We're in the same clothes, thinking the same things, doing the same things, even, Lord have mercy, singing the same songs and listening to the same sermon.
Yes. Yeah.
That's not beautiful.
Yes.
It's not wrong, but go be a radical individual in that place and invite the Holy Spirit to just come through you differently. Just tacked a whole bunch of spiritual stuff on the end. So if that wasn't what you were looking for, God bless you. I'm just radically being me.
I love that. I like that. And it's just, you I just want to clarify when you're touching these terms, radical, rebellious, barbarian, but it's in character. So there is a kingdom character that's attached.
Oh, thank
So
you.
so so it's we're not talking about lawlessness. That's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is you have to have an honoring character. You have to have a compassionate character.
Yeah.
And if you don't have those things, but you still think that, oh, but I'm still being rebellious and radical, and yeah, that's you're below the line. Go back to the beginning and acknowledge that you're building an empire that you are gonna live in isolation. Don't do it.
Amen. Well, the doors are open.
Yes.
The opportunity to come join this community is one that I love that people take us up on it. They join
Yes.
us in group coaching. They join us on Insight Line. They join us just on the ARC path in our community, our celebration, our life experience. And thank you for joining us in this podcast. The way to expand the community, your community, is share the podcast.
Yes.
Pass it on to somebody. My encouragement for you today, when you think about who to share this with, share it with an affirmation of thank you for being a radical friend of mine. Thank you for being a barbarian in blazing trails. Thank you for demonstrating that the unique version of you has worth and value. Tag that on like a little, send them, hit the share button, and then write that in there.
Love that.
That somebody has inspired you to know that that is the way by which our community is stronger, better, and reaching for a kingdom impact. So
Amazing. Amazing.
send us out.
Yeah. Well, we love you guys. We love our conversations. We love that we get to share these conversations. It would be sad if we just did this because we can do this all day long, and we do. But imagine we get to share it with you guys. Now it's your turn. What do you want to share with us? We are ready. We want to hear. We want to listen, and we want to be in community with you. So looking forward to seeing you on the ARC path, and have an amazing rest of your day.
God bless.